So that's the who. So it's the 3 organizations, and now we're going to move into the part of the agenda where we tell you what we're doing and what we're up to. So this is the fun part. We've arranged these into 4 major categories, and we're going to go through those categories for you. But one of the things I wanted to point out is the 4 components all equal economic development. When you look at what we're truly doing, economic development and promoting the community and maintaining vibrancy are really what all of these things, is the mission behind all of these things. So that is our focus for everything that you're going to see here today. We're going to hit the highlights. There's a lot of programs we're going to try and get through, so we're going to hit the highlights of those and save questions till the end if that's all right. And so we're going to launch right into transportation initiatives, and Jim's going to start that with the Peachtree Corridor.
So we actually came out of some thinking of the Buckhead Coalition, and they said we really need to have a CID in this area because Peachtree is becoming a nightmare. And the way I look at it is they said we've got to convert Peachtree from a sewer for cars into a complete street for people so that it handles traffic better, but it also accommodates the pedestrian and people that don't want to be in the cars or would like to have alternatives so they don't have to be in the car. That was really the reason behind, the original reason behind the creation of the CID. And we embarked upon doing that and determined that we would accomplish the transformation of Peachtree in 3 phases. The first phase, which exists out there right now, is from Maple on Peachtree, across Piedmont, and up to the Buckhead MARTA station and the Georgia 400 underpass. The different elements in the transformation of Peachtree I've listed here. First of all, we're going to manage traffic better with the improvements that we're making there. We are going to put better sidewalks in place so that people want to be out on the streets. Bike lanes on both sides to provide that mode of transportation. Doing landscaping and shade trees to make it much more inviting and interesting. We buried all the utilities. We put street furniture out there. We've got not only street lights, but pedestrian lights and much more attractive ones than we used to have. And the traffic signals came down from wires and went on mast arms. Much more attractive area, and we were able to create this kind of an environment here in that first phase. So that was the first phase that we completed. The second phase of Peachtree Road transformation starts right at where the first phase ended. It's what you see under construction right now, and it goes all the way up to Roxborough Road, Peachtree Dunwoody Road. We're doing the exact same thing in this area that we did in phase 1. And this phase is going to be substantially complete, believe it or not, in about a month from now. At least that's what the contractor has been told, and what they have said that they are going to be able to live up to. There will be some things that will need to be completed after the end of August, punch list items, some of the planting of the landscape, because you don't want to be putting trees out there right now. You want to wait until the fall or the winter to be able to do that. What I've got up here are some images to give you a sense of the kind of things that we need to do with this transformation. We've got the general manager of the Ritz-Carlton here, and he knows that out in front of the Ritz-Carlton there is this big Georgia Power vault that's sticking up, this big block right here. This actually is the new sidewalk that will go in here. That's the level of the new sidewalk. We went ahead and had Georgia Power do the work they needed to do so the contractor could come in and just marry the sidewalk up with that. Here's the sidewalk that's going in across the street in front of Lenox Square. And I put this image in here to show you how Lenox Square is redoing their pedestrian promenade to come up and actually meet the streetscape that we are creating. So they are embracing this new front door. And that is a great example of how the public and the private sectors can coordinate and work together to create a better environment for everybody. That's phase 2. Then we've got the third phase that we have also been working on. This is down here, starting at Maple and going down to Shadowlawn. This was how much was conceived initially and has been gone through design to get things ready to go. We are still working on refining what the concept will be here in phase 3, but we're making progress there, and we may give you guys a break and not get to work on that for a while so you can get to enjoy Peachtree without orange barrels out there for just a little while and appreciate how well the corridor works.
Since we tackled our Peachtree, we started looking at the need to address Piedmont. And I kind of look at this as Peachtree is sort of our pretty pony, and Piedmont's really more of the workhorse of the community. So we were looking at this study was done a couple of years ago, and actually Jeff Smith and Kimberly Warren, who worked with us on that, is here today. Basically, Piedmont really was looking, it was in trouble. And if we look, when we looked at the initial conditions on it, we were looking at travel time increasing from 18 to 27 minutes, and then also with more than a third of the intersections actually operating in failing conditions almost all day long. So that's a problem. So we began with a typical focus group. One of the things that's really important is every project that we do, we have a significant public engagement component to it, and this is no different. There were over 400 people that were directly engaged in this project. And the thing that's interesting is there's no silver bullet solution for Piedmont. It's a combination of 47 different projects totaling about $200 million that are going to make the changes that we see here. You can see we broke it down into sort of two major areas. This is really, the first slide is about the improvements that are more directly on the corridor, and you can see the type of things that we're proposing to do out of that. One of the key things that we're doing is actually reallocating the lanes. Right now you have 3 north and 3 south. Well, all the traffic is southbound. So we're actually reallocating the lanes to have 4 southbound and 2 northbound. A little bit counterintuitive, but those are some of the types of things that are in this study. It also, Piedmont is directly impacted by other forces outside and accessing the area. So people, commuters that are coming through and making connections directly impact Piedmont. So the connection that's now under construction with the 85 to 400 interchange, that's going to be a significant improvement for the corridor. And you can see we have several different recommendations that came out of this that are talking about access to the area to provide relief for Piedmont Road. It's, as I mentioned, about a $200 million scope of work, and one of the things that's really important is $50 million that's in the TSLOS list is going to implement a number of these recommendations that you see in this study. So that's an important thing for this community. This slide just shows you some of the before and after shots, and really the whole goal of this study was to create mobility balance, meaning we weren't looking at it, as Jim mentioned, as a sewer for cars. We were looking at how we can make it work for all different types of modes, particularly transit. There are a number of recommendations in there that improve the transit access along the corridor, things like consolidating the 52 bus stops that are in that one area and getting them all to where it's more efficient. So this study has a 20-year horizon of projects, so it's a lot of the things that are coming forward now, and it's already, I believe, about 20% complete when you look at the projects that are in the list.
One of the recommendations in the Piedmont Corridor study was how do we address a big problem on Piedmont Road up at Habersham Road. I presume you're aware of this famous bottleneck. And at the end of the day, what happens is so many people are coming up Piedmont that want to turn left on Habersham, they end up capturing that left lane because the turn lane is too short for the queue of cars that want to turn. So you're effectively taking away a lane of traffic on Piedmont heading north out of here, and that creates the bottleneck that backs things up all the way back to Peachtree Road at times. So we are in the process of doing the final work to get this area prepared for making a major improvement, which we will see in this area, where we are going to be creating a continuous left turn lane all the way down to this entrance into Piedmont Center, so that cars that are coming south are going to be able to have a left turn lane to come in here. Cars that are coming north will have a left turn lane to get in here, and we will get back to having all the through lanes that we need to handle the traffic in that area for the foreseeable future. In addition, we're going to have good sidewalks up there. Georgia DOT has approved all this. Georgia DOT is putting money into it. And Brian, when do we think this project will be under construction, and what's the construction period?
Next year, and it's less than 1 year.
Okay, so 2013 will be under construction and it'll be done within 1 year.
This is a great example of how the organizations work together. CID funded the study that BATMA then managed and conducted the public engagement for, and then the CID is funding the initiatives like the Habersham turn lane that came out of it. So it's a great example of how the organizations are collaborating.
And while we're talking about Piedmont and traffic backup, one of the other programs that we have funded for many years now is the program of having traffic officers out there to help pull the traffic out of the Buckhead core area to get folks on their way home. So this is a program that we've had for quite a while, and recently we took a look at how well that program was working. It was doing okay. We said, you know what, we can do better. And some of the improvements that we made were where we were having the officers stationed, making sure that they all had the same radios, not only the ones that we are paying to do this work, but the ones that private property owners are paying. They all have radios now on the same channel. They have, all of their activities are coordinated right now so that it really does work as a system to help move the traffic through the area. Another program that we have just embarked on is a very novel program. The idea is, can we capture video from the traffic intersection cameras in Buckhead, analyze that video, be able to determine how many cars are going through that intersection, how many cars are turning, how many people are walking in that area, get all kinds of data captured that we can then analyze and then do something with to get good information out, either to you in the future so that you have a better understanding of traffic conditions, or information to us or to Georgia DOT so that we can make some operational improvements to help manage traffic better and make life easier for you. So this is a pilot program that we have just launched in partnership with Georgia DOT, Georgia Tech's Urban Transportation Center, which is a national transportation center that has recently been established, the Atlanta Regional Commission, and I believe the City of Atlanta. Well, we said one thing that we need to do is we need to be able to get the big picture, everything pulled together in terms of land use and transportation. We need to have this pulled into a model that we can use to understand what's likely going to be happening in the future as changes are made in terms of real estate development, or as we are considering improvements that we can make to manage and handle that growth and continue to make improvements. We engaged Parsons Breakerhoff to create a CID-wide land use and transportation model. We're in the process of getting that model all wrapped up, and we have been doing the calibration of it, and we've started testing some of our ideas about improvements that we should consider investing in. So this is, I believe, a really big idea, a great tool for us to use to make sure that we're really strategic about the decisions we make and can test all kinds of what-if scenarios going forward. So this is a major investment for us in this tool. Well, this right here is phase 3 of Peachtree, which is to be built in the future. The question is, what can we do down in this part of Buckhead where we're sitting right now today? This is, as you know, a problem intersection area where West Paces Ferry, East Paces Ferry, Peachtree, Roswell Road all come in. And we've been taking a look at this and analyzing what we might be able to do. Technically, here are the problems. You've got offset intersections right here. This, if you're coming out of the Buckhead Village onto Roswell Road and want to continue this way, you've got an offset intersection here. You've got an offset intersection here, and you've got 5-point intersections, 3-point intersections, and it's not ideal for how you want to manage traffic, and it's not ideal for the conditions you want to create where people are going to say, I like being on my feet out of the car in this area. So we are right now studying what we can do to make improvements to how all of this works for automobile traffic and also for people that are going to be in this village area as development continues to occur here. Now you'll notice that, if you'll advance it, Tony, you'll notice that there is a gap here, and then we also need to be thinking about going further south on Peachtree. Those are also things that we're studying right now, testing concepts, seeing what we can come up with that works for the properties adjacent to that corridor, and also work for the people who will be moving through the area. So this is under study right now, and my aspiration is that we're going to have some really good solutions identified that we can vet with the public in the not too distant future, and then start figuring out how we're going to pay for it when we can get it done.